Most people think dinosaurs were the deadliest creatures of the ancient world. T-Rex, Velociraptor, and Spinosaurus are monsters that ruled the land. But in the water, something even older waited. A silent killer with bone-crushing jaws, thick armor, and the patience of a perfect predator. It didn't roar, it didn't run, it watched. And when it struck, even dinosaurs didn't stand a chance. This wasn't a dinosaur. It was a crocodile, but not like the ones we know today. This was Sarcosuchus imperator, the SuperCroc, a 40-foot beast that lived over 110 million years ago in the rivers of ancient Africa. Heavier than 2 rhinos, longer than a bus, and built to ambush. Dinosaurs came to drink. Sarcosuchus came to kill. One bite, and it was over. Sarcosuchus wasn't just big, it was ancient. It lived over 110 million years ago, long before the famous T-Rex ever appeared. Its name means flesh crocodile, and that's precisely what it was. A predator built to tear through meat. But Sarcosuchus didn't come out of nowhere. It was the result of millions of years of evolution, dating back to a time when crocodile ancestors were among the deadliest hunters on Earth. Today's crocodiles are survivors. They've barely changed in 200 million years. But Sarcosuchus wasn't just an earlier version. It was on a different level. It belonged to a group called Phyllitosaurids, long-snouted croc-like reptiles that lived in fresh water. While many species in this group were small or medium-sized, Sarcosuchus pushed the limits of what a crocodile could become. Its body was covered in thick armor plates. Its jaws stretched over 6 feet long, filled with more than 100 teeth. However, unlike modern crocodiles, which have narrow snouts designed for catching fish, Sarcosuchus had a broader, heavier skull, ideal for crushing. It wasn't until the mid-20th century that scientists first found pieces of this giant. Fossils were discovered in the Sahara Desert, a place that was once filled with rivers and life. However, it wasn't until the early 2000s that a complete picture emerged. A team led by paleontologist Paul Sereno uncovered a nearly complete skeleton in Niger. What they found was shocking: a crocodile far larger than anything they'd ever seen. This discovery helped scientists understand just how big and powerful Sarcosuchus was. It wasn't just longer than modern crocs, it was built heavier. With a body shaped like a living tank, it could likely overpower anything that wandered too close. But what made it even more dangerous was how it waited. Like modern crocodiles, it likely stayed underwater for extended periods, barely moving and simply watching. And when it struck, there was no escape. Sarcosuchus didn't chase its prey. It didn't need to. Like today's crocodiles, it was an ambush hunter, only much, much bigger. It would lie still in rivers and swamps, its massive body hidden beneath the surface, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. When thirsty dinosaurs came to the water's edge, they had no idea what was watching them from below. Scientists believe Sarcosuchus had a powerful bite, but that wasn't its only weapon. Its jaws were broad and heavy, and its skull was reinforced to handle powerful impacts. Unlike modern crocodiles, which often prey on fish or small land animals, Sarcosuchus may have targeted larger prey, including dinosaurs. Not the giant sauropods, of course. However, small and medium-sized dinosaurs, such as ornithopods and young theropods, were the perfect size. One thing that makes Sarcosuchus different from today's crocodiles is how it likely used its size to its advantage. Like its modern cousins, Sarcosuchus likely dragged its prey into the water, but with much more devastating force. Imagine a 6-ton crocodile snapping its jaws shut on a dinosaur's leg, then dragging it into the river. The dinosaur wouldn't stand a chance. Its bones would be crushed instantly. Some scientists believe that Sarcosuchus wasn't fast on land, but in the water, it was a silent assassin. Its flat body and muscular tail would have made it a strong swimmer. It may have spent most of its life underwater, using stealth rather than speed. The rivers of ancient Africa were dangerous, and Sarcosuchus was one of the reasons why. Sarcosuchus wasn't the only giant crocodile in Earth's history. Another prehistoric monster appeared millions of years later, and it was just as fearsome. Its name was Deinosuchus, which means terrible crocodile, and it lived in what is now North America during the late Cretaceous period, approximately 80 to 73 million years ago. Deinosuchus was about the same size as Sarcosuchus, up to 35 feet long, maybe even longer. Some fossil estimates suggest it weighed as much as 8 to 10 tons. Like Sarcosuchus, it had a powerful bite and thick body armor, but there were differences too. While Sarcosuchus had a longer, narrower snout, Deinosuchus had a shorter, deeper skull, more like a modern alligator's. This suggests Deinosuchus may have been better at crushing bones, while Sarcosuchus may have focused more on gripping and dragging prey. One of the most chilling aspects of Deinosuchus is its habitat. Coastal areas and river deltas adjacent to large dinosaur populations. Fossils of Deinosuchus have been found near the remains of duck-billed dinosaurs, and some of those bones have bite marks that perfectly match Deinosuchus's. It may have preyed on juvenile dinosaurs and scavenged the carcasses of adults, using its massive jaws to crack through even the toughest bones. So, who was deadlier, Sarcosuchus or Deinosuchus? It's hard to say. Sarcosuchus was older, and it lived in a completely different part of the world. Deinosuchus came later and had a slightly different skull design. But they were both part of a terrifying truth about the past. Even dinosaurs had to watch out for crocodiles. These two reptiles demonstrate that size, patience, and raw power can often be more dangerous than speed or sharp teeth. And while T-Rex ruled the land, in the rivers, someone else was king. Sarcosuchus lived over 110 million years ago, during the early Cretaceous period. At that time, the region that is now the Sahara Desert looked completely different. It wasn't dry or empty. It was filled with lush wetlands, slow-moving rivers, and thick jungles. This was a perfect place for a massive crocodile to hide and hunt. But Sarcosuchus didn't live alone. The early Cretaceous period in Africa was home to numerous massive creatures. Giant fish swam in the rivers. Flying reptiles, or pterosaurs, soared above the trees. And of course, dinosaurs walked the land. Sarcosuchus may have shared its territory with animals like Uranosaurus, a plant-eating dinosaur with a tall sail on its back, and Suchomimus, a fish-eating predator with long claws and a crocodile-like snout. Suchomimus is especially interesting because it probably hunted in the same waters as Sarcosuchus. That means the SuperCroc wasn't always the top predator. It had competition. It may have had to fight for food or defend its territory from other large hunters. But unlike Suchomimus, which had to come onto land to rest and nest, Sarcosuchus could stay in the water almost all the time. That gave it an edge. It could strike when others least expected it. The environment was harsh too. Rivers would rise and fall. Droughts could dry up parts of the swamp. Prey might disappear for months. But Sarcosuchus was built to wait. It didn't need to eat every day. Like modern crocodiles, it could survive on very little. And when the opportunity came, it could take down a massive meal and go weeks without eating again. In this world of giants, survival wasn't just about strength. It was about endurance, patience, and the ability to stay hidden. Sarcosuchus had all three. Sarcosuchus is long gone, but its story didn't end with extinction. Its legacy lives on, not just in ancient bones, but in the crocodiles that still stalk rivers today. Modern crocodiles are their distant cousins, and though they are smaller, the similarities are impossible to ignore. Today's crocodiles, alligators, and gharials are part of a group called crocodiliforms, which includes ancient species like Sarcosuchus. While dinosaurs died out 66 million years ago, in the mass extinction event, crocodiles survived. Why? Scientists believe it's because crocodiles were built for stability, not speed. They didn't need to evolve quickly or chase prey. They waited, struck, and vanished. That strategy worked then, and it still works now. Sarcosuchus was a perfect example of this design taken to the extreme, characterized by a large body, powerful jaws, armored skin, a low metabolism. It didn't burn energy like warm-blooded predators did. That made it a master of long-term survival in an unstable environment. Even when food was scarce, Sarcosuchus could wait days, even weeks, until the next opportunity came along. It's almost strange to think about. The mighty dinosaurs are gone. The enormous marine reptiles, such as Mosasaurus, vanished. Even giant flying pterosaurs disappeared. But crocodiles, they're still here, watching, waiting, surviving. Sarcosuchus shows us that sometimes survival isn't about being the fastest or most intelligent. It's about being the most prepared to wait and being powerful enough to strike at the perfect moment. Sarcosuchus was not just an enormous crocodile. It was a monster from the shadows, a reminder that dinosaurs didn't just rule the past. Beneath the surface of ancient rivers, there were other predators, silent, patient, just as deadly, maybe even more so. It never roared. It didn't need sharp claws or clever tricks. It waited, and when the time came, even the fiercest young dinosaurs could become prey. Its jaws told the story, vast, bone-crushing, unstoppable. It hunted in a world of giants and still earned its place as one of the most feared animals of its time. Today, Sarcosuchus is gone. However, the water still conceals killers whose bloodline can be traced back to it. The crocodiles you see today, lounging in swamps or gliding through muddy rivers, are echoes of that ancient power. Smaller, yes, but with the same cold strategy, the same hunger, the same patience. So, the next time you see a crocodile, remember what came before. There was once a beast big enough to pull a dinosaur under, and in the forgotten rivers of the Cretaceous, the land wasn't the only place to fear. If you enjoyed this journey into the prehistoric past, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another story from the ancient world. There's so much more lurking beneath the surface.